So this past week, I've been testing Overlord Corviknight over here on the test account, and I have to say that it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's worse. Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. First of all, I just need to start by addressing a mistake that happened on the Corviknight review. I got some messages from a Brazilian friend of mine, which is Zai, has a YouTube channel on the Portuguese version of the game, and also I did get some comments about it. Basically, on the Corviknight review, my Corviknight was increasing some damage buff below the Corviknight itself, and when I was recording, I had no idea what was this buff, and it was stacking up to 20 times, so I can just continue over here, and this number will increase, and it appears to be from the Ho-Ho set. So I totally forgot that the Cinnabar Ho-Ho set on the level 160 actually gives you 5% damage dealing every round, and this stacks up to 20 times, and that is the icon below our Pokemon. So I'm sorry for those who got hyped about the possible damage increase for Corviknight, but no, that's not his damage increase. Anyways, let's start by taking a look at what can be interesting from this Corviknight. We go to the held item, to the abilities, and the passive. Starting on the held item, we have a 28% damage reduction and 28% damage increase to the whole team if Corviknight is using a double star held item, more specifically his own double star held item. And not just that, we also get Line Strike and Moxie as additional abilities. If we look at our exclusive ability, it's Kenai, which is every time that we get attack, we are increasing 10% damage and defenses to all of your Pokemon, stacking up to 10 times, which is 100%. And our exclusive Dream ability, Mirror Armor X, which increases the restriction damage reduction by 50%, 20% to our allies. On the passive, it says that the first time that we release Brave Bird, which is our ultimate, it will increase all the allied attacks and defenses by 25%, and also giving immunity to Corviknight. Sadly, as we can clearly see, if we go and release one ultimate, nobody got attacks and defenses, everything remained the same. We still get immunity to controls though, but if we are not buffing our allies, this is not as useful. There's also this debuff that Corviknight can apply, which is called Cut Marks, and we can see by this icon over there on the enemy. And if the enemy that has this debuff decides to move, it will increase all the speed of our Pokemon and supposedly the damage as well. So for example, our Corviknight is 67k speed, our Ho-Ho is 13k, so if I just attack this Hoopa one more time, Hoopa will move once, and as we can see, we have increased speed on both Ho-Ho and Corviknight. Even though there's like no speed icon below the Pokemon, we still get the speed increase, which is very nice. And as you could already understand, our skill 1, Air Slash, actually applies cut marks to the target. It removes and dispels Guardian Souls, shields, and all the buffs, which is awesome, and also has extra crit rate. Over here it says if the Pokemon is already marked with cut marks, they lose extra 25% of the HP, which is just wrong. It's a bad description. What it basically does is that it uses your own HP to deal damage to the enemy, and this applies to every other skill. So there's no Reaper damage, there's no true damage based on your own HP. It's just a simple skill that increases with your own HP, and it's not Reaper damage, so it's not true damage. Skill number 2 is surprisingly the skill that deals the most damage on this Pokemon. It's called Power Trip. It's a dark type group move, and it applies bleeding to the enemies. On the Z version of the skill, or actually any other skill, they always apply cut marks, but this one says that it's only after you attack the Pokemon. We go and use the Z move right now. We are not dealing much damage, but we applied cut marks. After we apply cut marks, we should be dealing a little bit more damage. Skill number 3, we have Drill Peck, ignores and dispels Guardian Souls, and it's an utility skill that removes the rage from the target. The skill is single target, and as you can see, even after marking the Hoopa with cut marks, it says that we increase our damage by 100% and whatever. Just give me a second. Yeah, please attack today. There we go. We can see that the damage is not the greatest either. Our ultimate, that should be the most interesting of all, well, it still dispels Guardian Souls and whatever, but well, it doesn't buff our allied Pokemon as it should. And over here we will be able to see the Z ultimate on action with all the damage output possible. And as we can see, not horrible, but also not the greatest either. Keeping in mind that for the showcase, of course, I have the fully built Corviknight with a full Ho-Ho set and also some strike cards. But even that was not enough damage to one-shot a Hoopa. But of course, to show Corviknight's full potential, we need to test Corviknight in a team. We are going to show multiple teams. We are going to first of all show Corviknight as an attacker on a flying team and also on a steel team. And then we probably show Corviknight as a support on a flying team, for example with Rayquaza as an attacker. I would love to try and showcase the Corviknight with Sword and Shield, but honestly it doesn't feel like it makes a difference. Anyways, let's go and try to showcase our first team. We have a flying team over here with Overlord Corviknight. I'm going to start by actually using the Volcanion, but I don't really need to also use the Volcanion for that. We proc the Ho-Ho, very nice, very nice. And because of that, now we have the full buffs. Okay, we can just first of all apply the enemy with cut marks. We are dealing a lot of damage, and now we can just use our group moves. Maybe we do the Z group move? Maybe that's good enough? Maybe the ultimate over there would deal more damage. We dodged everything because we are flying, so right now maybe the ultimate? Yeah, the ultimate actually did quite a decent amount. But we can already see that was quite easy because of the power difference. Let's go against the real thing, which is Zexy. Like, usually the damage testings that I like to perform are always against Zexy. So we go over here against this Hoopa. We are going possibly Z-buff? Do I need to Z-buff or do I do the normal buff? Actually, I'm going to Z-buff. And to make sure that Ho-Ho moves, I'm going to Z-buff. We do it like that. We use the Ho-Ho buff. Now, complete buffs. Over here, he is already marked with cut marks. So we are going to do one dark move. What will happen? I'm not sure. We will find out on the next episode. No, we are using the ultimate, and as we can see, we are not dealing much damage with the ultimate. We are using Power Trip, for example, and it's actually dealing more damage with the normal move, just like the normal Corviknight. It was basically all the exact same thing. We were dealing more damage with this dark move, the Power Trip, than the ultimate, surprisingly. So we can just keep spamming our dark move until something happens, I guess. But as we can see, yeah, we cannot kill this Hoopa. Okay, if flying team isn't the answer, maybe the steel team can actually be the answer. Keep in mind that despite the power difference, if a Pokemon is usually good enough to be an attacker, it can kill this team. Usually, like according to my experience on this account, all of the Pokemon that are good enough, they should be able to just kill this Zexy Hoopa. So we are going to just proc the buff on our Regigigas, on our Melmetal. And we are going to use, first of all, marking him. Oh ho, we can see some difference of damage reduction. So he's marked with the cut marks. Sadly, we are confused, so we are going to use the Hill Metal. We are going to use Ultimate first of all to make sure that we don't get confused again. So remove like all of the negative effects from all our Corviknight and removing it permanently because of the passive and because of the held item. So it's like the Dream ability with the restriction damage reduction and our held item with the damage reduction as well. We are actually not taking as much damage from this Hoopa as we should. But as you can see, we are not dealing damage either, so I'm not sure if it's worth to stay alive. Okay, so this bird as a main attacker, no, I don't like it at all. But what if I use an Overlord Rayquaza, for example, as a main attacker? Now, our Overlord Rayquaza has much more power, specifically because of the skill breakthrough, but in terms of strike cards and stats, it's kinda similar. So now let's test over here Rayquaza with Corviknight and Tornadus as supports against Hoopa. Now Rayquaza will move first because, well, it has more in battle speed. I am actually going to start by using the flying move, Tornado, because our Tornadus will be forced to move, which is a very good thing. Now I can just basically use my Z buff, which forces my Corviknight to move, and for now I will apply cut marks to the enemy, which is very nice. Now I'm using the speed boost and I'm going to make our Corviknight move again. Now, with the Corviknight moving again, well, never mind, I have Dragon-type ultimate and not Flying-type ultimate. So my Corviknight will not move, but also everybody's flying, so it seems to be all fine to me. Can I just use like Z ultimate and kill this Hoopa? My god, yes I can. Okay, let me just change to Flying-type ultimate, and we try this battle again. So once a normal attack, we just use maybe the Z buff. Yes, sure, why not? To make sure that our Corviknight moves, we can use Volcanion support. Flying-type ultimate this time, which forces all of our Flying-type Pokemon to move. More buffs. More, I don't know, what am I going to use over here now? Maybe I just use the Spell Guardian Souls. Maybe I just use this, sure. And now I can make them move again with the Z ultimate. This makes me wonder, do I even need Corviknight over here? Keeping in mind that Corviknight was giving me extra damage increase just with his health item, nothing else. And I'm not sure if that is actually mattering right now. I'm using the exact same skill order. Now we are going to use ultimate. Everybody's dead. Now this guy uses buff. Maybe it makes Rayquaza move again. Maybe it does. We just do it like this. No, it's not making any damn difference. Rayquaza and Tornado is just soloing the damn Hoopa. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys. This was supposed to be a Corviknight, a showcase, but ended up being something that is like a showcase of not being a showcase. And honestly, Corviknight itself sounds like a very big disappointment. I would still have hopes that you could still play this Pokemon as a tank for fun, because it has increased crit rate, deals damage based on his own HP, etc. So I feel like whoever has the resources to try and make this work, maybe in a Steel team, could possibly actually work it out in a team exactly like this, or with some variations like Resonance Ho-Ho. But honestly, for the price that this Pokemon is, I don't think it is worth it at all. Maybe in the future the Pokemon will be cheaper and we can have fun with it. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next video.